Welcome back to my channel Code Dictator. In this tutorial we are going to learn Spring Boot. You can find those code on my GitHub ID and you can provide any valuable feedback on my Instagram ID. What is the problem with servlet and Spring? So that is really hard. So why hard? Because what Maven archetype we need to use, or what type of dependencies we need to use in our application. Then how do I set up configurations like XML or Java applications, and how to install server. So that is really hard to set up your server manually like Tomcat, JBoss. So what exactly the issue with the configuration? So we have n number of setup like servlet, all their tags. Again we have dispatcher setups like dispatcher file, prefix and suffix, and like view resolvers. Again we have setup like a file like model and view and model and view resolvers. So these are all the configurations that is really hard. So if you are setting all this configuration, so there are lot of chances we can make a small mistake in our application, and definitely that will make a big issue in future. So what is the solution? So solution is Spring Boot application. Why and how? Because it makes your life easy. So it is very easy to get started and to set up your Spring Boot application. It minimize your manual configurations, like you can use auto configuration or property files and jar class path. Then it helps us for dependency conflicts like Maven or Gradle projects. And again it is having embedded servers like Tomcat, JT or JBoss. So no need to do any explicit setup of your servers. So how to initialize with your application? So there are n number of ways. So the first way is what we can visit that starter.io.spring.io application website, and there we can start our first application. So they are having few steps, so we'll look into that step. So how your embedded server works basically, it provides embedded HTTP server, so you can get standard quickly, you can start it quickly. So it is having like Tomcat, JT or JBoss or different type of servers, inbuilt servers basically. And whenever we build our application, so it creates a jar file, and that jar file contains your code and your server, that is your embedded server. So simply no need to do any explicit setup for your servers. You can simply run at that application and it will automatically run on that particular server. So how to run our applications? So we have two different ways. Either you can run your application with the help of any IDE or standalone, like which is local host, and you can run your application with the help of IDE and command line. So command line is basically you can run with the help of like command like java -jar and your application.extension jar. So it start your server, and in that server it load your application and it help us to start your first application. So the frequently asked question is like, Spring Boot replacing Spring MSC or Spring REST APIs? So no. Instead of that, Spring Boot it is work on top of your all these technologies like Spring MSC, Spring REST, AOP or Spring Core. And once you're done with the setup of Spring Boot application, so you can use all those annotation which are using in Spring technology, so like iterate component, controller and auto wires. So how to set up our first application? So we can simply you can visit that starter.spring.io website. There we can choose what type of project application we want to develop like Maven or Gradle, and there we can choose all the necessary dependencies, and inside that we can define like Spring Boot path and description and artifact, all the basic necessary details. And after that simply we need to download that jar file, and we can open that jar file in any your favorite IDE like Eclipse, IntelliJ or NetBeans. So let's start with the first application. If not yet you followed my channel, so please subscribe my channel, like and share with your friends, and hit the bell icon to get notifications. So let's start. How to set up our applications. So we have few basic steps. So we will go through of those steps manually. Visit this website starterspring.io, and there you will get all the configurations. So we are going to start with Maven project. So here we have options like Maven project or Gradle project, or languages you can choose anyone like Java, Kotlin or Groovy. And here we have another option like Spring Boot. So it is basically asking about the version. So suggestion, always choose only like a version which don't have snapshot, because that is your alpha or beta versions. So always go with the stabilized version like 2.4.0, and when I recorded this video, this is the highest version. So go with the highest version. So group, which is basically co-dictator. So artifact is like first demo, and description you can provide any description if you want, and you can provide your application name as well. So this is my first demo. And here packaging, it will ask you for package jar and var. So after some time we are going to look into that, what is the difference between jar and var and which one is the best, and you can choose your language. So I'll go with the Java 8. You can go with the higher version as well. And after that we need to set up dependency. So if you see the right hand side, you will get a dependency option. There we are going to add Spring Boot web starter, Spring Boot web. So if you see here, which is inbuilt having all the default setup like Spring MVC architecture and Apache Tomcat, that is your server. On that server we are going to run our application. So we are going to choose this dependency now, and then simply click on your generate. So it will generate, and it will generate one zip file, and just save it to your download folder. Here it is, my application. Simply extract that file, my first demo. If you see here, we have n number of files that is pre-built over there. So pom.xml, mvnw command, mvnw, and which is help md file, and source package, and source package containing main and test. So don't worry, we are going through that application as well, like folder structure and package structure. Okay, so add this project in our application. So simply right click, import, and Maven project, existing Maven project, choose that path, my first demo, open it, and simply hit on finish button. So it will download those dependency in your local system. So basically how it works, so whenever you reload your application, or if you refresh your Maven project, so it first of all it look into your local storage that all the dependency are present in your local storage in m2 file .m2 directory. If it is not there, so it goes to your central repository website, and from there it collect all the necessary repositories or dependencies, and it downloads, and it download in your local, that which is the directories .m2 directory. So if you see that package structure is already there, and so right now I'm using STS, that is Spring Tool Suite. But if you guys are using like Eclipse or any older version of Eclipse, so might be you will get an error. So in pom.xml you will get one error over here on line number 1. So how to resolve that error? Okay, I'll just quickly go through update. So you will not face any problem in future. Simply you need to add only one tag in your property file, which is Maven char plugin version, and then you can choose version like 3.1.1, and save this file. And after saving this file, simply right click on your project, and guys, you can repeat this step whenever you are adding any new dependency in your application. Simply right click on your project, go to the Maven. Here you will get option update project. Simply click on it. You can choose soft updation, or you can just forcefully update all those files, and simply hit OK. It will download those files again. It will clean your m2 file, and it will download all those file necessary dependencies again. Okay, now we're done with the setup. So if you see here, this Maven pom.xml file, that is automatic generated file, so no need to take care of all the configuration from our end. And how to run this application? So open this package structure like com.codedictator.firstdemo, and there you will get one main file, main application, and simply you can just right click, you can run as. So you will get different options like run Spring Boot application or run Java application. You can run both one, so any one of these. Okay, so simply run as Java application, and automatically it will run on the port 8080. I'll just make it full screen. So automatically it started its embedded server, which is Apache Tomcat, and it already initiate your port 8080. So simply you can run your application, and right now we are running our application on local system, so that's why we need to write localhost colon 8080. So let's run the application. So now we are getting this error, but just be with me, we are going to solve this error. We don't have any controller to hit that API, that endpoint, so that's why we are getting this error. But if you see, our application is now running on our embedded server. So before jump into that application, we will just create one small controller to test our application, is it running properly or not. And make sure whenever you are running your application, so terminate your server first, otherwise it will engage your port and it will give you an error, your port is already engaged. So simply we will create one new class, which is hello Spring Boot, and there we are going to write some annotations. We are going in depth in that annotation part, but here we are just testing our first application. So I did it REST controller. So if you see that we already added dependency of web starter, so with the help of that web starter, it will automatic add all the annotations, required annotations. And right now we are going to call get mapping, and basic endpoint is slash only, and we need to write method public string welcome message, and simply you can return the simple message, return welcome to Spring Boot. So we're done with our application setup now, and simply run your application, right click on it, or you can run on your server as well. It will run your embedded server, which is port number 8080. Just hit that page again. Here it is our message, welcome to Spring Boot. So congratulations, you're done with your first Spring Boot application. Okay, so we're done with our first application, hello Spring Boot. And so how Spring Boot application is helping us to reduce all the setups. So if you see what we did, only with the help of start.spring.io website, we create our first application. That is super easy, all the setup part. It reduces all the manual configurations like servlet configuration, dispatcher, and all the manual configurations, XML configurations. It helps us to remove all dependency conflicts or their versions. Automatically we can add simply the dependency, and it will download whatever the necessary versions we required, our application required. So we need to do it explicitly. Again, it helps us to set up all our embedded servers, so no need to add any explicit server in our application. In next part we are going to learn all the package structure, and we are going to start with the annotation part. So please hit the bell icon to get all the notifications. Thank you.